What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind Fantasy official live stream for this NBA 9-game slate. We have so much injury news coming in as we speak. Cannot wait to break down the slate. But first, huge shout out to Jock Market for sponsoring this stream. Guys, we will be covering Jock Market here in a little bit, going over our favorite plays. If you haven't signed up today, one of the best DFS games you can possibly play out there on the market. Literally, it's a marketplace. So we will be going over Jock Market, how to play it, all of our favorite plays a little bit later on in the stream. Use code DGF20 for a free $20 bonus. It's that easy. Just grab free $20, sit back, enjoy the stream, and we'll give you our favorite plays. But as of right now, we're going to be covering some Draftkings plays. And before I start, for all of you guys in here, by the way, huge showing here initially. 65 viewers has been beating our average lately. So fantastic show out so far. TJ, while we have everybody here, tell them what we're going to be expecting a little bit later on tonight as far as live stream content.
Matt,
yeah, what's going on?
We are going to be having an NBA Top Shot rare pack opening.
You got a rare pack today? What?
I got a rare pack. I was lucky enough to be inside the top. What was it? 10.6K, right? Because they held 1,000 packs.
Yep.
Got number 4,700. I'm sitting here staring at it. I'm excited to open it. I want to open it right now, but Matt keeps yelling at me. So we're going to hold on to it. We're going to do a live stream later, maybe drink some beers, see how it goes.
Maybe.
I'm
already getting hammered.
for that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so
Amanda,
I cannot
will you grab
wait.
me a Bud Light, please?
Yeah, and Amanda knows about that, right? Like, you're making a ton of money tonight.
Amanda knows. Well, hopefully, Matt. Come on. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah, I'm not jinxing. I'm just talking about our luck lately. So my luck ran out today. I wasn't in the top 11,000, even though I was pretty close. But 2 days ago, I got that common pack. So my luck is now transferred over to TJ. I'm going to be calling the shots. So, you know, the luck might be in your cards. But anyway, let's jump back on track, TJ. Let's go over this DraftKings slate, give the people what they want. Let's start out by covering the chalk. The chalk right now is in a bunch of different places, actually. Let's start out by talking about the Sacramento Kings. They were actually relatively chalky to begin with, but now we have an extra injury to add to the report. Halliburton's now out for the Sacramento Kings, going against the Detroit Pistons. Pistons are also on the injury report, a very heavy amount here. Sadiq Bey is also questionable for them. But let's talk about by talking about Sacramento Kings here. What's going on when you take Halliburton off the court, TJ?
Yeah, so when we take off Halliburton, and we got to take off your big, Matt. We got to take off Whiteside because Whiteside is also out tonight against Detroit. We're looking at De'Aaron Fox, who's a 1.21 fantasy point per minute, projected to play 36 minutes. If this game's competitive, he could easily play north of that number. 27.4% total usage. We have him pegged for only a 5.52 value, and I think that's a little light. We have him projected at 42.5 DraftKings points. And again, if this game stays competitive, I think he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, especially with no Halliburton. I really do love De'Aaron Fox, carrying a lot of ownership as well. Harrison Barnes, Matt, is super cheap at 50. You're projected 36 minutes. He doesn't necessarily pop on the sheet. He's a 0.84 fantasy point per minute, but still, I think this is a really good matchup for them. Probably a tight rotation here. I could see Fox, Barnes, Hield all playing north of 35, potentially 36 minutes. And then we have the bigs and Bagley and Rashawn Holmes carrying some ownership. And then we're going to get Corey Joseph questions at 3,600. I do think he is going to be a decent cash option as a cheap play. I don't know if I'll go there. He gets a 0.5% usage bump with no Halliburton. He's a 0.79 fantasy point per minute. So all in all, Matt, I think obviously De'Aaron Fox is my favorite play.
Yeah.
He's a cash play to build around tonight against Detroit. Outside of that, I think some of these guys are intriguing with Barnes. Buddy Hield, I didn't mention, really cheap. Bagley still cheap. All those guys aren't even 6K. And then Corey Joseph will get questions on. I'm sure Daquan Jeffries people will ask about as well. 3,500. I don't hate him. 0.76 fantasy points per minute without Halliburton. So I think there is some interest for me here in Sacramento, but De'Aaron Fox is the one guy that I want to make sure I'm having in cash tonight.
Yeah, these are the top. I mean, this matchup competes with the top 3 over-unders on the entire slate, TJ. So Sacramento, Detroit, a great just overall game to jump into in terms of the pace of the game. Fox, I got to agree, $7,700. You got the price decrease. Now you add the injury of Halliburton to the mix, 40.4% ownership. Definitely going to be a cash lock for me tonight. Harrison Barnes, I think for sure I'm going to probably be including him in the cash lock, TJ. $5,500 is just way too cheap for a guy playing 37 minutes, 5.7 point per dollar value. And then the rest of these guys, like you said, great GPP options. I think they're all cash viable, TJ, just because of the injury news and just because of the minutes that they're playing. The opportunities are great for all these Sacramento Kings. I really think you start your builds though with Fox and Barnes. Even though we'll get a lot of mixed opinions on Barnes, it's just 5,500 for 37 minutes is just absolutely crazy, TJ, and a very good matchup. So can't look away from that. A lot of upside there. Now let's go down the list. What's going on?
I was just going to say back-to-back, too, coming off a pretty ugly loss against the Knicks. Hopefully they can be a little more competitive tonight against Detroit.
Great point. Great point. Let's go to Charlotte next. By the way, we just got Toronto updates, so I will actually go in there. Did you update Toronto, TJ?
I did. I just don't know if I have the right. I don't know if I have the right minutes here. Yeah. What do you have?
Do you want to go straight into them? Let's actually go to Toronto.
Yeah.
All right, they're in a very good matchup, guys. Siakam was ruled out, so that gives a usage boost. I actually didn't compute the numbers, so I'm gonna let TJ take the floor here, real quick.
What do you have for Boucher in terms of numbers?
Boucher's at 27.
Okay,
seems
I like that
low.
A lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna put 26. Okay, so we're looking. Man, can't shake this, guys. I've slept 4 out of 5 nights on the couch because all I do is cough, and
no lie,
I feel bad for Amanda, so I end up going to the couch when I have a cough fit in the middle of the night. I can't shake it. So yeah, Matt, with Siakam off the floor, we're looking at Fred VanVleet, who gets a 4.8% usage bump. He's a 1.31 fantasy point per minute, 28.7% total usage. We have him pegged for 50.8 DraftKings points, a 6.12 value. So I absolutely love VanVleet. He's now carrying some higher ownership as well, 27.3 over here on Roto. So I do like Fred VanVleet in cash. Lowry as well at 7K, projected 34 minutes, 4% usage bump with no Siakam, 1.12 fantasy point per minute, 26.1% total usage. We have him pegged for almost 40 DraftKings points, 39.6. So I love both those guys. And then Boucher, Matt, at 5,600. Like, I think he can play 28 minutes, especially if this game's competitive. And it's a fantastic matchup, obviously, against Houston. We've been picking on taking bigs against them. We were really high on, it was Jared Allen last game, and then the game before was Wendell Carter. Those are the two guys. And we love both those guys. We had Jared Allen as one of our favorite plays as Wendell Carter. Same situation here for Boucher going up against PJ Tucker with no Christian Wood. Obviously, no DeMarcus Cousins at 5,600. We're going to put him at 26 minutes, Matt. 1% usage bump with no Siakam, 1.22 fantasy points per minute. We haven't pegged for 32 DraftKings points. So those are going to be my 3 favorite plays. I love VanVleet tonight in cash. I think Boucher is going to carry a lot of ownership, especially because it's such a good matchup against Houston and PJ Tucker. Kyle Lowry, I think the ownership's there. I don't hate him, honestly. Norman Powell is going to be a good tournament play. I don't think the ownership's going to be on him. Same thing with OG. And then these guys coming off the bench, like Bembre is going to get minutes, Watanabe, Stanley Johnson, Baines, Terrence Davis. I don't really have too much interest in any of those guys. It's going to be Fred VanVleet for me. I love him for cash. Lowry, and then Boucher. Those are going to be my guys. And honestly, Matt, I'll probably have VanVleet and Boucher in terms of cash.
Okay, so okay, TJ, this is where I do think Lowry's going to be a cash priority. Are you not?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
No, I think you can go there. I'm just trying to think the slate.
I'm just looking at that price tag.
As a whole. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if like VanVleet and Boucher are who I'm making priorities, but I wouldn't be surprised if I have Lowry in there as well.
Okay.
Because then we got De'Aaron Fox. We have somebody else in that Golden State Charlotte game that I want to touch base on. So yeah, I think it's kind of a mid-tier night. So yeah, if I have all 3 of those guys from Toronto, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, they're showing updated ownership on Fantasy Cruncher. I'm assuming it will update one more time because they're showing Kyle Lowry the highest owned, 25.5% ownership. I don't think that's that big of a surprise, but I'm more confused about Boucher. Down here at 10.1% ownership. If he's actually that low, give me all of that in GPP's because he's a crazy fantasy point per minute player. Playing 27 projected minutes right now, 5.6 K price. What's up? Hi.
I would take Aaron Baines in tournaments too, just because of the upside here and a potential, obvious, fantastic matchup against PJ Tucker, obviously playing down low. So
I actually feel like a teacher because I'm looking at my stat sheet here, and then in the corner of my eye, I see a hand raised, and that's like that's what a teacher experiences when they see kids at the in the corner of their
teacher.
Anyway.
Matt.
Yeah, teacher. Yeah, okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the Charlotte Hornets versus the Golden State Warriors game because they also have some injury news to hone in on. I think we're gonna be focusing around 3 teams, TJ. I think once we get through the Charlotte Hornets, I think that covers cash. If you play anybody else outside of the Charlotte Hornets, Toronto Raptors, and Sacramento Kings, guys, I would hesitate because it looks like there's so much value to go around in all 3 of these teams. Starting with Gordon Hayward, TJ, 6.7K, 27.7% 50% ownership. I know you love him. One of your favorite players is what I've been gathering over the past couple weeks. PJ Washington, 23.5% ownership, shows very, very well on a sheet. And then Mr. Bismack Biyombo himself, always a great value play when Cody Zeller's out. 3.3K, 26 projected minutes, 7.3 point per dollar value. I think he's the most obvious play on the slate as of right now. I know he doesn't rate the best on our sheet, but TJ, you have to take the matchup and you have to take the pace into consideration. Golden State, I mean, that's a gold mine for somebody like Biyombo playing 26 projected minutes right now. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I would have liked this matchup for Biyombo a lot more if we didn't have Looney and Wiseman back. But regardless, Matt, he's gonna start at center. Unless they go PJ Washington, which I doubt they do. I think Biz is going to get the minutes. So at 3,300, Matt, you virtually need him to get you 17 DraftKings points to hit value. He's going to carry ownership. He's a really good cheap option tonight. Like you said, doesn't really rate too well on our sheet. I haven't projected at 27 minutes. He's a 0.71 fantasy point per minute. And that is without Zeller, and that's without Devontae Graham. So we have him pegged for 18.8 DraftKings points. So I do like it. The only thing I get a little on is if they do run PJ Washington a little more at the 5. But with that being said, Bismack's cheap enough that
I think they're both cash viable for sure.
Yeah, he just needs you to get 17 points. So that's the number that you want Biz to get you because he's going to carry ownership. Anything more of that is just a gift. PJ Washington, I absolutely love at 5,400, Matt. Projected 32 minutes. He gets a 2.7 usage bump with those guys off the floor, 1.06 fantasy point per minute. We have him pegged for 34.85 DraftKings points, a 6.45 value on our sheet, showing ownership, and rightfully so. I really do like PJ Washington as a landing spot in cash. And then Gordon Hayward at 6,700, just absolute criminal. I know LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier have kind of taken over as of late, but still really good matchup against Golden State, Matt. It only says he's a 1.06 fantasy point per minute without both Zeller and Graham, but I don't buy too much stock into that. The numbers were a little bit skewed too. It wasn't the biggest sample size that we had on Gordo. So I absolutely love him in this up-pace matchup against Golden State, especially if Charlotte can stay competitive on the road. So again, same thing with Toronto, like where I'm saying if you have Lowry, Van Vliet, and you have Boucher in your lineup, like I think that's doable and viable, and I do like that if you're making a one line. If you have Hayward, PJ Washington, and Bismack in a one line, like I can get behind that as well. LaMelo and Rozier obviously going to be tournament plays at the low ownership. I think they have some upside, but Gordon Hayward, Bismack, and PJ Washington are my 3 favorite plays.
Another thing to add, because Bismack Biyombo, every single time he's played over 26 minutes without Zeller, I was scrolling up and down the game log. He's absolutely crushed value. So I wouldn't buy too much stock into the fact that he's only averaging 0.71 fantasy points per minute, TJ, in this matchup as well. I think Charlotte in general looks to be like one of the more obvious cash teams to focus on. I'm talking even over Sacramento, possibly even Toronto. It just seemed like the matchup, the over-under so good, and all these guys are so cheap. So love the matchup, love the cash options, and just like that, we covered the entire slate, guys. No, but seriously, these guys are so obvious as of right now. We're still pending injury news across the board, TJ. Specifically, we got that hero news, so we can technically take a look at Miami. With Houston, we still have Exum and Wood out. With Boston, we have Smart and Langford. Like, we have a bunch of injury news across the board, but nothing's going to impact it as much as the teams that we just talked about. Sadiq Bey from Detroit is the last team that we're waiting on, which we can actually talk about. But do you even want to dive into that until we hear the injury news? It starts at 8. So I do think we will get the injury. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking the opposite way. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to Miami, the big news we're still pending out of there. We did get news that Hero's out, but we're still waiting on Bam, which is really big going up against Utah. So that's something we need to keep an eye on. I think they need him against Gobert, but we're going to see what happens there. If he's rolled out, there's obviously going to be some value that opens up. Chips is chasing his tail on the couch right now, running in circles. We are also OKC is interesting, Matt, going up against Atlanta. I'd love to touch base on them. No Diallo, no George Hill, and no Al Horford tonight. I think there's some really good value there.
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. I just saw something really funny. So you know how Halliburton's out?
I'm going to mute this real quick. Yep, I'm listening.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's also opening packs in an hour.
Halliburton's opening packs in an hour?
Yeah.
Priorities,
I just saw that. That's really funny. He's out because he's opening up packs. Anyway, yeah. So
did you listen to anything I said?
No, I was halfway listening. You're talking about all the injuries.
Perfect. Okay. OKC is the team that I want to talk about against Atlanta.
Yeah, go ahead.
So fantastic matchup here for OKC, obviously at home. Atlanta coming in on the road. A 228 over-under is what we have. And like I talked about, we don't have Diallo, we don't have George Hill, we don't have Horford and Ariza, who's irrelevant. So I think there's some really good value here, Matt. I'm looking at SGA at 8,800, more of a spend up. Fantastic matchup, obviously, against Atlanta. It doesn't really rate too well on the sheet.
Playing, you saw that? Sorry.
Okay. Available. That's good.
Yep.
1.21 fantasy points per minute, 27% total usage. We haven't pegged for 44 DraftKings points. I'd love him to go north of 50 tonight. So I do like him. He is carrying ownership. I do think he's cash viable. Isaiah Roby's another name, always with Al Horford off the floor at 4,900. Gets a 1% usage bump. He's a 1.03 fantasy points per minute. We haven't pegged for 29 DraftKings points. So I honestly don't hate him. He's carrying ownership. Lou Dort's an interesting play at 40. Chips is going crazy at 4,800. But Matt, a guy that's falling by the wayside is going to be Darius Bazley at 5,200. He gets a 1.8% usage bump. He's a 0.97 fantasy point per minute. We haven't pegged for 31.6 DraftKings points. So if his ownership's going to be south of 20%, I really do love him in tournaments. I honestly don't hate a lot of these guys in terms of cash. Like, I think you can have Roby or SGA in there. And Kendrick Williams, Matt, it was in the thumbnail this morning.
He still is. He's a thumbnail of this live stream. So
3,500 projected 24 minutes, 3.7% usage bump, 0.93 fantasy points per minute. We even pegged for 23 DraftKings points. So I really do like this OKC team. If they're going to fall by the wayside here with all this Toronto news, potentially Miami. We also have who else did we already? Sacramento.
Sadiq Bey's already been taken care of.
Okay. And Charlotte, like if OKC falls by the wayside, like sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love all these guys for value. Not only that, the matchup is great against Atlanta. So price decreases across the board when I was talking about in this video. It doesn't make any sense. Pace up spot, $3,500, $5,200 for Bazley. I mean, all these price tags just took a dip. Yeah, all of them did.
Yeah, they're all great.
So I don't get that. And again, like you said, they're going to be falling by the wayside. And we haven't even gotten a huge update on Toronto's ownership. So the ownership shows relatively low as it is right now. So I do think these guys are going to be more GPP plays. Sharp plays here. So if they can really put up 112 points against Atlanta, definitely should hit value there.
I'm probably going to sneak some of these guys in cash, honestly.
Yeah, they are very good.
If I had some builds that start SGA Van Vliet tonight.
Again, I just want to keep going back to the point of like Charlotte and Golden State, 330 or 233, not 333. That would be a very big over under. 233.5 over under Charlotte versus Golden State, and also in Sacramento and Detroit a 227. This game, Atlanta and OKC is up there too, 228. That's so right there. You can definitely prioritize some of these games for sure. Yeah, I think you got to go to Charlotte though. I think you really do have to start your builds with that Bismack Biyombo value. Anyway, TJ, it is 6:31. Do you want to go over GPP plays real quick, or do you want to go over to the Jock Market content now?
Let's just mash some. Let's go to Jock Market for 20 minutes.
Okay, we can do that.
We'll come back. We'll do some GPP's. We'll answer questions for like maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll hit the cash score.
Sure. So now with the injuries that have come out, I'm gonna have to take a good look at the Jock Market board yet again with all the updates.
Everything's moving already, Matt. You got to get your bids in now.
Yep. But again, guys, Jock Market is one of the best fantasy sports. We are partnered with them. We actually have a sponsorship. Each one of our videos is sponsored by Jock Market. Huge shout out to them. Enter code DGF20 before you guys go ahead and deposit those $20 so you can grab these free plays. We're going to go ahead and go over the Jock Market board as of right now. Let me actually load up the app here.
Love that. So I'll tell you right now, Matt, one of my favorite plays in terms of Jock Market, he's ranked 17th, which is just way too low, especially with Siakam out. It's going to be Fred VanVleet. He's one of the best values that I have currently on the sheet. We're showing him projected at 50.8 DraftKings points. Now, guys, when you take into consideration Jock Market, the one thing you have to understand is it's the same exact scoring as DraftKings. The only difference is you lose 0.5 for every missed field goal. So Fred VanVleet, guy that can definitely get hot. Gonna have to take a lot of shots tonight, especially against Houston in what should be an up-pace matchup. So, Matt, I am putting, oh my God, I almost hit $70 a share on VanVleet. I like him, but not that much. I'm probably going to start off my bids tonight with a $7 bid on Fred VanVleet, currently sitting 17th. They haven't projected at 37. Okay, someone just outbid me. Was that you?
No, I honestly am having trouble opening up the. This isn't good.
Fantastic.
I'm spazzing right now.
Okay. So actually, somebody just outbid me. $7.50 right now is the bid for Fred VanVleet. I'm going to go ahead and do $8 a share. So basically, guys, the way that works is I only need Fred VanVleet, who's ranked 17th, to finish within the top 15th in order to profit off of Fred VanVleet tonight. So I'm going to do 5 shares here at $8 a pop. So $40 down on Fred VanVleet to finish within the top 15th in terms of overall DraftKings scoring, including the minus 0.5 for missed field goals. I think there's a lot of other good value. Chris Boucher is also up here. So, Matt, here's the one thing with Chris Boucher. He's projected not showing too high ownership, right? He's the 21st ranked guy in terms of Jock Market right now. They have projected at 34.83 fantasy points. So I absolutely love him. Trying to scroll down, Gordon Hayward at 32.8 projected points, ranked 27th right now. If you were to somehow sneak in Gordon Hayward into Jock Market, and he is currently right now in terms of his bid price, $5.50 is what you would need. That would be his threshold. He bite you? Chips is going crazy right now, Matt.
I hear it. Yeah, it's
can everybody hear that? Can you hear that?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, he's going bananas. Sorry guys, but that's my son. I'm putting in another bid right now, Matt, for Gordon Hayward. Again, somebody we're really high on in this high matchup against Golden State. We got no Zeller, we have no Devonta Graham, so I am currently buying 5 shares of Gordon Hayward at $5 a pop. Probably going to get outbid there, but the best thing about Jock Market is if you do get outbid and you have notifications on, which is huge, it does
turn your notifications on. Absolutely.
Yeah, notifications on when it comes to Jock Market is the absolute biggest thing. Oh man, PJ Washington at 4. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of them, TJ, as I was about to talk about PJ Washington. But yeah, he's another one that's very, very low. We know that I'm better than TJ in DFS. So let me give you some of my plays, guys. Before you do it, enter code DGF20. Start taking my picks here, because Trae Young, TJ, is very low here at 5 when he's the top projected guy for us on our board as of right now. So I absolutely love Trae Young. I think he could definitely finish in the top 3 players tonight, especially in this OKC matchup. It's actually not that bad of a spread right now. Let's actually make sure that's true. Only a 5-point spread, so it's expected to be competitive versus a very soft matchup. Another player that I always talk about, I just feel like every single time on Jock Market, is Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is projected right now the 3rd highest scoring player per our projections. He's all the way down here at 11, which means he has to finish literally the top 10 to make money. It's crazy to me. Why is Kawhi Leonard being so disrespected in this matchup? The one thing you guys have to remember is in terms of DFS, people are focusing on the popular plays. Kawhi Leonard is not a popular play tonight, but guys, he's still one of the best players on the slate. Don't understand that. 11-3. That is my favorite play. I think overall, that is just crazy to me. I don't know why they always discount him. Another player that you took, TJ, was PJ Washington. Where is he at now? 41. Yeah, that's crazy.
You're watching that 41. Yeah, it's way too low.
Yeah, we haven't projected for how many points?
30.
Should be more than that,
30...
I think.
30. Hold on. I can't find him. Come on, PJ. Where are you, buddy? You're playing the night games. You should be at the bottom of my sheet. You're 34.84.
Yeah, and right now on Jock Market, he's projected at 29. So huge jump. Huge jump. I think that's a great investment as well.
Matt, another guy that's really intriguing tonight, currently ranked 29th in a fantastic matchup against Chicago. Now, Phoenix, a well-oiled machine with CP3 at the helm. DeAndre Ayton, currently 29th, going up against the Chicago Bigs. I really like his upside. He's one of my favorite tournament plays on DraftKings, so I'm obviously going to love him in Jock Market. Currently, you'd only need him to go north of 29, and that's a really cheap suggested price in order to bid. And if it can hold firm, like $4 a pop's going to make it so you're getting him. You only need him to place 32nd or better, which is actually behind where he currently is priced at 29th. So that's the glory about trying to find some of these cheap gems, Matt, is that you can kind of can fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
Get it
be sneaky
priced and they're actually ranked. And then before the game even starts, you're profiting off of that specific person. And based on our numbers, some of those guys that are ranked so low, like a Kyle Lowry, Kyle Lowry is going to be a guy that's going to get bid way higher than he probably should because there's no
he's popular. That's exactly what I was just talking about. Yeah.
So what I would take in consideration, Matt, is Kyle Lowry is going to get all the money and people are going to be placing him and the bids are going to continue to rise. It's going to be really hard to get shares of Kyle Lowry. Right below him sits Harrison Barnes against Detroit, currently at 34. So if you you can get a guy like Harrison Barnes at a cheaper price because everybody's allocating their shares to a guy like Kyle Lowry. He's a guy that is easily in a smash spot against Detroit, especially with no Halliburton. He gets a usage bump. He's going to play north of 36 minutes if the game stays competitive against Detroit. Really like Harrison Barnes as a cheaper play. And I think you could get him honestly cheaper. I think you could lock him in, potentially get him for $4 a share. And right there, you're making profit already as long as he stays north of that number, which would probably be, I think, like 40th right now. If you did $4, so your bid $4 implies a break-even rank of 32nd. Okay, and he's ranked 34th. So I might try and sneak right here. 10 shares of Harrison Barnes at $3 a pop, which means my implied break-even rank would be 39. So if he goes north of, if he's better than 39th, I'm making money no matter what. And he's starting off at 34th.
Right.
So I love Harrison Barnes, especially going off of Kyle Lowry because Kyle Lowry's right in front of him at 33rd. I think that's a really good strategy that I've been trying to use. I've been trying to find where the chalk's going to be.
Yeah.
Going below it a little
strategy.
bit, trying to find some of those cheaper guys that are going under the radar in good matchups.
To extend off your point, TJ, I mean, there's guys that you're talking about Harrison Barnes. He's not that popular of a play, but even less popular. And we haven't even talked about Atlanta. We haven't even talked about Indiana. Miles Turner is right there, smack dab in the middle of all these popular plays, and a great matchup. Unfortunately, TJ,
yeah, I get it.
Very good. Okay. I wasn't trying to roast, but he's in a very good matchup, and he's only projected 30.14 points on here. And we know players they get penalized for missing shots. Well, Miles Turner is not going to take that many shots, so a very good buy low candidate in my opinion at that 38 spot.
I agree with you there. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say that it's a really good matchup, it obviously is the Celtics stock. Bazley, Matt, another guy, if we're looking at cheap, something I do like to explore. It's really rare that you have a cheap guy kind of sneak into the top 10, like anybody outside the top 30.
Sure.
I think like a guy like Lowry could potentially do that tonight because there's no Siakam and it's a high-paced game against Houston. Looking at a guy like Devin Booker at 39th is really low. But outside of that, like I don't really think any of these guys would really sneak into that top 10. It would be really hard to do. But if you're looking at anybody finishing within the top 25, like you're still making money, especially if you're buying low based off of the payouts that they do. Anybody inside the top 20, so 20th or higher, gets a $6.50 payout per share. So if you get a guy like Isaiah Roby or Darius Bazley tonight who are really cheap, like Isaiah Roby currently ranked 47th, excuse me. They have him projected at 27.93 fantasy points. That's a big down low that's going to get a lot of easy shots, maybe some dunks, some offensive rebound putbacks. So you're not going to see him shoot poor from the field. So he's a guy that could potentially sneak up there in a good matchup against Atlanta, who could sneak up in that top 20, top 25. And if you have him at a low buy, like it's just going to be easy profit in a fantastic matchup. So for cheap guys, like I'm looking at that, I would potentially try and bid low. And if I do get outbid on a guy, like it's not going to really affect me too much. Would be Isaiah Roby, currently ranked 47th. I would love to take a chance on Buddy Hield right below him at 48th, especially with no Halliburton. I also obviously like Darius Bazley, same type of situation there with Roby, currently ranked 52nd, projected at 26.59 fantasy points. And I think those are going to be my three favorite cheap options. Even OG, Matt. OG currently ranked
I was just looking at him.
Siakam, that's really cheap.
So many minutes he
somehow
plays.
End up in the top 20? Probably not, but the top 30, and you're still profiting off of him very easily. He's a minute guy. He's going to play probably
Mike Muscala, who's projected 23 minutes, is right below him. Like, are you kidding? No. I'm saying it's a bad play. I'm saying if you're comparing him around that range to somebody that's going to be playing 35 minutes potentially, that's not even comparable. So,
and to furthermore talk about the Toronto pitcher, Norman Powell, who we always loved for tournaments when Lowry's out.
So many minutes too.
63rd. Now that is a guy that could potentially go for 40
you had me
fantasy
sold there.
points.
Yep.
Like that's a guy that could go for 40 fantasy points right now in that current like bottom 60. He's the only guy that has a bid on him because somebody else is thinking like
putting Mike Muscala right there is just disrespectful in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean I might go all in on Norman Powell. Mm-hmm. Be right back. Hold up.
I would agree with that, TJ. I think that's a very good buy. But yeah, I'm honestly scrolling up and down, and you're grabbing all my favorite plays right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna bid. So
Matt thinks that Matt said he was better than me, guys.
I mean,
so Matt, that's kind of where my head's at right now. I currently have shares of our orders because obviously nothing's set in stone because you can get outbid. This is stock market. No, it doesn't matter if you have shares of a specific player. You're not locked in. Unfortunately, you can still get those shares outbid depending on if other people want to come in and bid more because they have strong feelings on that specific player.
Yeah.
I currently have shares of Van Vliet, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and Norman Powell. The Norman Powell play to me is just It
That's
seems
crazy.
so obvious.
Yeah, that is very low,
Like,
man.
have him at 63rd in a fantastic matchup against Houston with no Siakam. It's pretty disrespectful, honestly. So those are the 4 guys that I'm honing in on. I do have some interest elsewhere. I'll probably end up putting down another, I don't know, $100, $200 because that's the way I roll. Amanda, Bud Light, please, if you could, babe.
Already getting all right.
Is that disrespectful? That was not trying to be disrespectful at all.
No, that
It's
wasn't
just,
disrespectful.
my girlfriend's
No.
amazing, and she's awesome, and she is just.
So TJ, while we're on the topic of beer, I don't know how this is related. It kind of is. Do you want to tell the 173 viewers in here what we are doing a little bit later on? And I want everybody to hear this so that you guys can come out and show some support. By the way, guys, our last Top Shot live stream, our legendary pack opening, got 6,500 views so far. Yeah. So we want to see more support. The Top Shot market has been absolutely blowing up. TJ, can you tell them what we're going to see a little bit later?
Yeah, so probably around 8-ish, maybe 8:30, depending on WandaVision, what Amanda wants to do with watching that episode, more what I wanted the episode. We are going to be opening. I scored 1 rare Top Shot pack today out of 201,000 people that were in the queue, Matt, in the drop trying to get a pack. I somehow managed to get number 4,700. I have a very funny story, too, about how I almost blew it.
Tell that in the live stream. Live stream.
No, I'm not going to say it. I blew it almost twice, actually, technically. It wasn't just once. It was almost 2 times that I almost
this
blew.
Man TJ can never just get a pack. It's crazy.
It's always got to be pretty crazy. So, guys, Matt and I are going to be doing some drinking. We're going to do a live stream, opening the pack. Hopefully, I can get something good here. We're hoping for potentially, there's a Zion dunk, Matt.
Yeah,
there's
for 7K.
A John Morant. There's Steph. Like, I would love any one of those cards, but I'm just grateful that I did get a pack. So whatever I get is fantastic.
Yeah, regardless of if you guys can't make the live stream, we get it. We will be uploading it to YouTube immediately after. Hopefully it's another pool where I will be just amazed by our luck, because the last few pools have been amazing. Anyway, TJ, we have 15 minutes left on the live stream. Let's get to some GPP plays on DraftKings and also some questions. Oh no, the notifications are broken. Thank you for the subscription, King US Ama 92. I am Silly Willy. Thank you so much for the subscription. Really appreciate it.
Willy. You're a beast.
All right, let's go ahead and switch over to some questions.
Hi, Chips. Chips is staring at me because I got a cold.
Good. We only got 2. All right, good. Not coming in,
guys. And just so you know, I think this might be a really interesting stream. I haven't drank in I don't know how long, and I'm just going to keep drinking Bud Lights until we stream. So I honestly might be shit-faced by the time this puppy starts. So it might be some good entertainment for you guys. If you're just hanging out, trying to beat COVID, come watch Matt and I drink, open up a pack, and maybe you guys can enjoy it. And Matt, if I get something big, I'm definitely thinking about doing a giveaway to some of our YouTube subscribers.
I was already thinking about that.
Yeah. So if I do score something big, like a Steph or, an Anthony Edwards jersey dunk, first gold card that he has, I'll definitely be doing some sort of giveaway.
I think that's a great deal. Great deal just for showing up. How many cash plays should I use in a single entry contest with 594 people and a contest with 356 people in it? First of all, we have a formula that's made specifically for figuring that out. It's also on our DFS 101 playlist if you guys want to check that out, and also our Patreon exclusive playlist. But those GPPs are actually relatively large. 594 people is actually not that small. It seems small when you compare them to the milli makers out there in the world, but it's really not that small. So differentiate yourself in about 2 to 3 to 4 places when playing those GPPs.
Love it. Jack
Daniels or Captain Morgan? The next question we got.
Captains for me because I'm soft. I'm not a big
Jack
drinker.
Daniels. Oh, really? For whiskey, you're not?
I can't. Yeah, just in general. I don't really drink as much.
I do drink whiskey. That's the one thing I'll drink. Yeah, no, I haven't been drinking that much, especially during COVID. By the way, I had my first bit of alcohol 2 nights ago since COVID. What? Who's not?
Yeah, weren't you drinking like margaritas or something?
No, it was a big box of wine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No. Baines is not
Super Draft. I always forget about Super Draft. Yeah, let me upload some Super Draft.
I'm gonna mash some. See, I'm already burping. Jeez, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so pathetic. I'm not. I used to be able to do a little bit of drinking back in college. I could handle some beers, but I can't anymore.
A little bit of drinking. Just to get shit faced.
Amanda said I'm cringy, so
okay.
I am. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's see. So, Ethan, we touched base on the Jock Market best values. Matt's going to get you super draft right now. How do you get into cash games on FanDuel? Ronald, honestly, I've never played FanDuel.
50-50s and
But
double up, same format.
it should be pretty basic if you know how to manage the app. I think he means like how do you physically get on there and get into a cash game. Cash games are just 50-50s and double up. So I'm sorry if that confused you. J3 said Mason Plumlee lock.
He's not that bad of a
good
play,
matchup,
actually.
Obviously, he's not that bad of a play at 6,500, but I don't think you go there in cash. You do like him in tournaments. Hello, you two beautiful men. Hi, Sano. I went to type out Sano today, and it said
Sano, you're a great human.
Sano is a good dude.
Yeah.
Boucher is starting. Yes, guys, that's fantastic. Boston and Indiana last 3 games allowed 119.
Are we this high on Trae Young?
Thank you, Young Baba. I love that. Yeah, Boston's been terrible.
Okay.
As is Indiana's defense, which is rare. Super draft. Matt's getting to that now.
I have it now.
You. Hit big with the Cool Cats pack a couple weeks ago. William, congratulations, man. That's awesome. Matt had a huge pull. What was it, 2 nights ago?
Don't ruin that. I want people to watch a video. The experience is better. The experience is better.
Yeah, cool. Let's all watch Matt win or get more.
We're going to all watch you tonight take down this huge card. Steph Curry, number 1. Is number 1 cereal gone? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Do we have a
Brian
shot?
Bud Lights. Yeah, I know. I haven't had Bud Lights in a while. Larry Bird was dominating today. I honestly agree with you. Dominate, Rob. We got a lineup here from what? Trey, Van Vliet, Jeremy Grant, Barnes, Boucher, Saban Lee, PJ Washington, Biombo. I like that.
TJ, I have some super draft stuff
to
go over. So it's funny because it aligns with the Jock Market plays that we had. Trae Young is actually at the very top per our projections, 1.15 times multiplier, TJ. So I think that's a pretty good multiplier for Trae Young, especially when he could be one of the top scoring players on the slate. Kawhi Leonard, also 1.15 times multiplier. Love him as well, TJ. He shows up very well per our projections. Canner, 1.5 times multiplier, TJ. What do you think about that? That's pretty good, right? Against the Lakers. Wait, hold on. AD's out still, right?
No AD, yeah. So
it's not bad.
AD's going to be out for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I really don't hate that going up against Gasol and then the likes of Trez. Like, if he's going up against Trez, that's a good matchup for him. So I could get behind that. That's a really big multiplier.
Yeah.
I don't really love that game too much, just in general, honestly.
Oh, do you mean the NBA game? I thought you were talking about Super Draft. I was like, that's kind of rude, but okay.
No. I love Super Draft.
All right. Andrew Wiggins, 1.55 times multiplier on the high over-under. I can get behind that as much as I hate Andrew Wiggins. I think it's a good multiplier for somebody who's going to be playing a lot of minutes. De'Aaron Fox, 1.25 times multiplier.
Criminal.
And Devin Booker's at 1.4. So we have some very high. Yeah, well, he needs the help. We have a lot of good multipliers. It looks like a lot of value plays over here in Super Draft. We're used to seeing a lot of these superstars at the top. There's some superstars still up here, but it looks like there's a lot of value plays that I definitely like. Ayton, 1.4 times multiplier, 1.45 times multiplier. TJ, that's another good matchup. I know you like that one. So those are my favorite Super Draft plays over there as of right now. That's it.
Let's see what else do we have. Jay Crowder, no interest, tournament play only. I don't really like targeting Phoenix unless like it. There's Paul. Unless they have guys that are injured. SGA or Van Vliet for cash. I lean Van Vliet, but I honestly like both. I wouldn't be surprised if I have both. Sadiq Bey is playing. Thank you, Hudson. Who would benefit the most without Bam? Kelly O, small ball. I would assume Kelly would, and I would assume he would start at the 5 unless they do decide to start Precious or Princess. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on there, because if Bam's out, that's huge news from Miami. I obviously hate that matchup against Utah. More of a defensive game, but still, if Precious starts or is going to get 20, 22 to 24 minutes, like he's 3K, he becomes intriguing, as does Kelly O if he starts at the 5.
This is a good question, TJ. You ready?
Yep.
LaMelo Ball, is he cash viable? I don't know.
Not tonight.
You don't think so?
He
could have a killer game, man.
He could. I think he's more of a tournament play. I think you got to take into consideration, Matt, he's 8,700. I just think that's too expensive. Gordon Hayward at 6,700.
No, I agree. He's expensive, but
how effective Ball's been, how awesome he's been since starting the last 10, 11 games. The minutes are there, the usage is there. Like he's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But I'd rather go to a guy like Van Vliet around the same price tag, or maybe even Lowry, like SGA. I just think I'd rather get some of those cheaper guys like Gordon Hayward, like
For
PJ
sure.
Washington, opposed to LaMelo. I think that 87 price tag's scaring a lot of people off. But in terms of tournaments, like if you have the if you have 8,800 left and you have SGA and LaMelo Ball, like you'll get LaMelo Ball at probably a tenth of the ownership of SGA.
Yeah.
So I think he makes for a fantastic pivot.
All right,
off
you
of some of those
convinced me.
guys.
I just love the matchup, and I really do think he has a high
Yeah,
ceiling.
no,
Therefore, I think he's a great GPP option, and I would say he's cash viable if the price tags weren't as low as his other teammates here. I think there's a lot better options on his team. But yeah, LaMelo Ball, good play, high ceiling. I just don't. Yeah, I can agree with you now. I don't think he's that cash viable. Thanks for convincing me, TJ. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Mark's got DK thoughts. He's got Fox, VanVleet, Hayward, Roby, Boucher, Brogdon, PJ Washington, Biombo. I like that. I'm just not too high on Brogdon for cash. Let's see here. Boucher or Plumlee? It's definitely Boucher now that he's starting. Barnes over Roby. I kind of like Roby, but I can definitely get behind Barnes.
Okay,
too. He'll
see,
probably play
sneaky.
like 8 minutes more than Roby, I would assume. Danny, we will touch base on the core before we get there. I think Clippers blown out, said El Guap. I agree with you there. Ayton a lock, said Young Baba. I do like Ayton as a tournament play, but he's not carrying too much ownership. Is Bagley a good play at 6K? I like what I've seen from Bagley recently. I don't think he's a lock by any means, but he's definitely an intriguing play. He's only showing 11% ownership on Rotomat. So I like him as a tournament play. But outside of that, I don't think I'll go there in cash. Clint Capella lock, said Brian. 50 burger, easy. Okay. Clint does rate out pretty well on the sheet mat right now. So I can get behind
Clark
that.
Clint?
I just don't know if yeah.
All right, I got it.
I mean, he could easily bully Roby down low for sure. We got a lineup from Sano. Sano, what's up, baby?
You don't need our advice.
SGA, Hayward, Barnes, Boucher, Fox, PJ, and Bismack. Love that. That's probably going to be my lineup, Sano.
Yeah. Sano.
Hudson said Sano. I got the same line with Fred VanVleet over SGA. Okay, contemplating playing. Okay, yeah, I think SGA VanVleet, that's going to be a tough call. I'm probably going to try to get both. So no, you don't have both. So yeah, you're toast, buddy.
Is he trash?
William, yes, we did get a pack. Luckily, what else do we have here, Matt? Gallinari thoughts. I don't have any thoughts on Gallinari because he absolutely decimated the Celtics and just went absolutely bananas and hit 10 threes. It was really tough to watch, and like it's really still fresh in my mind. So I wouldn't chase the 10 threes that he hit and went for 55 DraftKings points. Like that was his ceiling for this year easily. It is a good matchup against OKC. He could get some run, especially because how hot he shot, and Reddish. I almost died. And Reddish is out. So yeah, he could play 30 minutes if he can stay hot from three. Like he probably plays 32, 34 if this game stays competitive. Only a tournament play for me. I wouldn't chase that last game. Yeah.
We got to end the stream soon, so we got to give the cash core.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cash core.
I hate to give everybody the bad news. Everybody hates me for that. All right. Cash core, TJ.
Whoa.
Right now, if we had to lock in 4 players, who are we locking in and why?
And why? You want a detailed?
No, never mind. Just who are you locking in?
All right. Fox, Gordon Hayward, Boucher, VanVleet.
Okay. Wow. Voice crack. All right.
Whoa!
Hey, I haven't hit puberty yet. I'm only 28 and haven't hit puberty. All right. Anyway, my cash log looks different than yours tonight, TJ. It does.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go a different direction, but I don't hate the direction you went in. I am just going in a different one. Fox.
That's gonna go. I'm gonna guess it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Fox, Barnes, Bismack, Biombo, and PJ Washington.
Okay, you're off on Barnes. I actually didn't lock in Barnes. Instead of Barnes, I went Lowry. I think.
So you have. So just say it out loud then.
Fox, Lowry, Biombo. They see the screen. I locked it, and PJ Washington. Okay. So I think it's a good core. I just keep looking at that Kyle.
So we're gonna
price
argue
tag
tonight when we hang up on everybody in YouTube and find the.
Oh, and your mic just went out completely.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can. Yeah.
Yeah, you suck.
Okay. All right. With all
I
that
said
being
I can't wait to go at
okay.
each other's throats to lock in the core.
Yeah. I do think the top 6 though is what we agree on. Harrison Barnes, Fox, Lowry, Hayward, Biombo, PJ Washington, and Boucher. Is that a full lineup? That might be a full operating lineup. I think it's missing a shooting guard. Yeah, it's missing. Lock in Buddy Hield. Is that even a lineup? think it's a full lineup. All right, anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate all the support.
Hey,
we will see you later
guys,
on the live stream.
Yes, come by later. Beers
are not included.
Liquor, whatever you want, and a pack. Yeah, they're not included.
Bring your own beer.
Can't provide beers. Yeah, BYOB.
Yeah, with all that being said, guys, have a great rest of your night. Let's cash.
Love you guys.